Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day you're viewing this. Welcome to another replay courtesy of Big Bad Chad and my fellow gamers. We, in our efforts to try new games and do new things, we are now playing Rome Total War 2. We're playing other things too. We've got another couple of Total War games up our sleeve that we might be enjoying. And, yeah, this is a replay. This is myself over here playing as the Averni, otherwise known as Gaul, for those of you who prefer geographic locations rather than tribal names. And my ally here is the long-suffering but ever leaderful, yep, that's a word, leaderful, brave party leader Zero Recall, playing as Macedonia. We are besieging our friend, because we're good pals and we just want to come in and play. Our friend, Lofty Tiberius Rex, who is playing as Carthage. Well, you will notice it is a 2-on-1, but what we've done is, gamely said, we'll only use half of the afforded gold. So we should have equal value of troops. That's the theory. Here or there for change and things. We did do a couple of siege battles before. As a notable improvement to my strategy, I have brought siege equipment this time. Previous to this, I only brought one set of giant ballista, which wasn't enough to break down a wall section. And that wasn't even a stone wall section, that was a wooden wall section for a barbarian settlement. So this time I've upped my game and brought not one, not two, not three, but 4 siege towers, and no artillery, because I'd given up on that for now. Zero Recall here has brought 2 siege towers. Are they the heavy ones? Yeah, they're heavy ones. And he's also brought some giant ballista. Now, there's some discussion about whether these are better or onagers. Onagers do more damage if you get the heavy ones, but these are half the price. So, swings and roundabouts. Yeah, apart from that, we've got a good selection of options here. Zero Recall is newish to the game. He's played other Total War games, but less familiar with the factions. And we'd had a few warm-up sessions. So he's stuck to Macedon, because I said they were pretty good. He's brought some Thorax Swordsmen, which are great for dumping on the walls. He's got some Hoplites, which are good all-rounders, and some Shield Bearers for his general. And then over here he's got a unit of the Sarissa Cavalry. These are defined as light shock cavalry, and I love them. Perhaps not the best thing in a siege, but, you know, they're still good. And he's got a unit of Cretan archers. I have 3 units of Gallic hunters, because I like archers. I've been criticised quite a lot for using them in siege battles, because, you know, arrows don't work on walls. But I feel that once you're into the city, they can be quite useful. Will I get into the city this time to prove that? We'll see. Apart from that, I've got some chosen swordsmen, some Oathsworn. And then over here, I've got some more Oathsworn. Oh, my general's in the Oathsworn over there. And then we've got 2 units of Levy Freemen. My plan here was to use them as cheap units to take the casualties and get them up on the wall. And then follow it up. Also, the more infantry you have, the more siege equipment you can have. So that's part of that, having an extra unit rather than extra 2 units of levies rather than extra 1 unit of, I think I could have afforded some, not quite chosen, the ones below. Meant I got an extra siege tower, which felt good at the time. Dave, Lofty Tiberius Rex, with his command of the Carthaginians. I believe we are defending Carthage, which is why he's picked the Carthaginians. Very, very in theme. Not sure how the Averni got down here, but, you know, Macedon's kind of close by, and I might have got lost. He has 2 units of mercenary Cretan archers, 3 units, and just some peltasts up there. He's got some late Libyan hoplites, some mercenary noble fighters, some late Carthaginian hoplites, some more mercenary noble fighters, and a unit of Sacred Band. Now, they are very good. Some more late Libyan hoplites up here. Will the Sacred Band be able to deal with the Oathsworn on the walls? Time will tell, time will tell. So let's begin. Now, we're not the most strategic of people. Like, we have played, we're experienced, we know some, basic ancient and classic tactics. But we haven't played the game a huge amount, so this is still very much us getting used to it. I mean, I will say at the time I felt I didn't have much of a chance, because in my mind, I was I was attacking the entirety of the Carthaginian army with just essentially half an army of Averni. I'm really not. Like, looking at it from Dave's perspective, this is a large army attacking him, and I can he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 melee units. So I can see he might have been feeling a little. He might have felt that it wasn't such an unfair fight as I did, and I think he would be right. It's quite a fair fight, looking at it from a bird's eye view, separated from in the moment. Now this Sacred Band are absolutely going to thrash my Levy Freeman if they get on the wall. So that'll take away my numbers advantage. I have no cavalry, so the Levy Freeman was sort of my shock rear charge option, while the better units held them. Well, this wall's taking a bit of damage. Lofty was not convinced by the heavy ballistae initially, but after a few volleys I think he changed his mind. He was under the impression that ballistae only fire bolts, and the giant ballistae are obviously not doing that. Yeah, there you go. See, he's moved them. We've got the Macedonian Thorax Swordsman approaching the line. Oh, another unit of Sacred Band. I missed them. So he's got 2 Sacred Band units. Those Thorax Swordsmen... Sacred Band are a hoplite unit, or a phalanx unit rather, but they're currently looking the wrong way, which is not a great combat tactic. But they will probably be okay against the Thorax swords. Over on this side, I've just deposited 2 units. This one's slightly slow. We've got a unit of Levy Fremen going into the Mercenary Noble Fighters. That's a bit one-sided, but that means my Oathsworn are going into these Peltasts, which is, if you want a one-sided fight, I think it's there. So here, Thorax Swordsman, getting shot a bit, in combat with 1, 2 units. Sacred Band not taking any casualties yet. The Hoplites taking a few. Oh, the other thing was, just as a demonstration of how new we were, Zero Recall and I were not... Yeah, see, there you go. Don't blame them, those poor Peltasts. Zero Recall and I didn't realise how to reuse the siege towers. That's an interface thing, an inexperience with the game and siege battles. So he's brought his shield bearers up, and I think he's asking me how to use the siege towers again, whereas I said, I don't know, that's why I brought extra siege towers. And that's actually the reason, because over here you can see I moved units round to support this, because if we can break that flank, because that's what, 3 very strong melee units, yeah, then that's going to bring us quite safely into the late game. Oh, another one down here, another melee unit that I missed. But yeah, I like my Levy Freeman not doing anything against those noble mercenary fighters. Lofty himself said that he'd brought them to just because he needed bumps. But I think they're very good, actually. I think they're very heavy melee infantry. Yeah, they seem strong. The wall has been broken down here. I've got a unit of hoplites running in. I've brought my flanking force round. Mercenary Iberian cavalry going into the hoplites, rather gamely. No casualties really caused on either side initially. My archers are down here as well. This is a waste. This is a bad use of my archers shooting up onto the walls. I think I can get a lot of shots round on those fighters, but I can't. My Oathsworn there, now flanked by Sacred Band and mercenary fighters. Not in a good place. For now, these hoplites are going with my levies, but that's going to be a one-sided fight as well. Over on this flank, Zero Recall's Thorax Swordsmen are, making a fair account of themselves, Killed 30 and 20 of each for the loss of, 70 of them, but they are flanked and fighting on two fronts. That is the light shot cavalry coming into this gap. So, I'm waiting quite, very ordered outside, very British, forming an orderly queue, getting poked down a bit from there. And I think at some point I discussed with Zero Recall the fact that my shock infantry, my chosen swordsman, and my oathsworn should probably have got in first, and the hoplites followed up. That's the end of the... Oh no, this Russian cavalry, they're just falling back. Strategic and tactical. Thorax swords against these mercenary noble fighters, they're churning through people. Even for now, but... Yeah, like Thorax swords, very solid unit, but they're not super elite, like, say... Well, they're not super heavily armoured, rather. Where are those mercenary noble fighters gone? Here they are. Yeah, so those mercenary noble fighters, the stats difference on them is huge compared with the Thorax swordsmen, so they're horribly outclassed. Over here, my oathsworn are slowly going down. And they are very tired, but they've killed a fair amount of noble fighters and a fair amount of sacred band, and they haven't lost that many. My levy Fremen have somehow managed to... I think Lofty just pulled them back, let's be real. This is Zero Recall throwing his general in to the gap here. There was a discussion about why the hoplites weren't in phalanx formation. And that is because in Rome, the hoplites do not get phalanx formation, they get a hoplite wall, which is like a spear shield wall. Similar to a phalanx formation, but much... you don't get massive pikes. So, there are, in fact, no pike formations, I believe, from Carthage at this time. Maybe the Sacred Band, actually. Oh no, there are some African pikemen there. They're not... They are in phalanx formation. So, my Oathsworn on the wall, still making a good account for themselves, exhausted though, and who can blame them? Having half down, well, the Sacred Band are doing okay now. My Levy Freemen have made a game charge into the late Libyan hoplites, but they're going to get wiped out. Zero Recall's general fleeing there, but I've just shoved mine in just in time to get to stop the cavalry from charging in. I've brought round this other siege tower full of chosen swordsmen. I think I dropped it initially and I've gone and collected it because we're not making much progress into this gap here. Nice one. Chewing through those cavalry. The shield bearers not having a great time against a hoplite formation and African pikemen. Nope, that's it. Zero Recall's had enough, he's going over. I don't think he died, but... Ah, yes, the intimidate things. Oh, that's Whistling Shot. Interesting. Whistling Shot affects friendlies as well, I discovered. So I've stopped using it in favour of just having the morale effects of the Flaming Shot. Although in this scenario there's many more Carthaginians than there are Averni, so it might be fine. But I also don't have any archers this side. I've got some round, but I don't think mine get Whistling Shot. Up on the walls we can see that the Thorax swordsmen gave it their best shot, but they're down. I mean, here has been a slaughter. I can't really tell whose corpses are whose, but I imagine a lot of them are Thorax swordsmen. And now Lofty Tiberius Rex has his Cretan archers back on the wall. He's brought up some late Carthaginian hoplites just in time to face off against my chosen swordsmen. I've brought my other unit of chosen swordsmen in here as well to try to push in through the gap. And now Zero Recall is bringing forward some more troops. This is a tactic that Zero Recall does quite well. He'll hide a lot of his troops, or some of his troops, in woods and won't commit them until he does it in waves almost. and I think during a siege assault that can be quite a good plan. So here my chosen swordsman chewing through those late Carthaginian hoplites. Not a problem, they say. You want that wall, Gov? We'll get that wall. Will the mercenary... oh no, here they are. The mercenary noble fighters have something to say about that. Probably, by the looks of things. Like my guys, but better. My Oathsworn, my general, now surrounded on two sides, having pinned this unit of Sacred Band against the wall, caught some Iberian cavalry, and now Lofty has chucked in some late Libyan hoplites to try to kill them. But they're feeling fine, you know, they're pretty eager. Fighting on three fronts just means you can get more round. Oathsworn up here, though, we've missed it, but they were slaughtered to a man, it appears. How good did they do? Sacred Band, 45. Down to 70. They did alright, you know. Get out! 90, 45, 135. Almost killed a whole unit. And I've managed to push through with my chosen swordsman here. They might not be up to the standard of some of the more refined units, or the noble units, but they are pretty good against hoplites, it turns out. And then we've got one of Zero Recall's reserved units on the wall there. These Carthaginian hoplites starting to tire, these pikemen starting to tire. Oh, and Lofty's brought up his general and charged from the rear of my chosen swordsman here, which is probably a good tactic, but he, like I do with many factions, went with a cheaper option for General's bodyguard, and he knew this was a risk. If his general died, the morale of his entire army would probably crack. But it's my morale who's breaking here first. The chosen swordsman, not up to the level of the Oathsworn. But change their mind when the general disappears. Oh, no more horses? That's fine. My archers are now out of ammo and making a game attempt at looking like infantry. We've got the light shot cavalry coming in. I mean, due to the lack of siege equipment here, if we had another unit of siege ballista perhaps, or maybe some onagers on this side, we could have threatened both flanks and forced the Carthaginian line to split up, which would have been more advantageous for my melee infantry. There was a unit that almost broke there, but they didn't in the end. Oh, there we go. Libyan hoplites are only halfway done, but they're having enough. Lofty has committed his general again. Not much we can do about that. Oh, and they're off. They're done. The late Libyan hoplites are fleeing the city. Not sure why they choose to flee through a Macedonian hoplite formation, but that's what they're doing. My general, still pretty eager. He's exhausted, but he's doing all right. 183 kills. That unit of Sacred Band down to basically nothing. Late Libyan hoplites still looking good, and the cavalry suffering a lot. Chosen swordsman fled after the second unit of Sacred Band, just stood their ground and did their job. Yeah, those royal purple cloaks look really nice. And then we've got the mercenary noble fighters come in to reinforce. Another African pikeman finally fleeing there. Is it too little too late though? We've got Zero Recall's cavalry looking for a way in on that side, but there isn't one. My chosen swordsman on the wall against these mercenary noble fighters. It wasn't looking great, and I thought I was going to lose this engagement, but they're still there, you know. I'm outnumbering the noble fighters now, chewing through them slowly. I think these guys, the noble fighters, might be exhausted. Another unit fleeing down here. Is that going to be the actual African hoplites? Yes, it is. The pikemen, rather. Oh, and here the Sacred Band finally had enough. My general wading through blood and bodies to continually attacking things. Yep, they're gone. One unit of Sacred Band down. But over here, my unit of Gallic hunters that came in to reinforce, they've had enough. They're likely out. The fact that they're even in melee combat is impressive, and that they stayed there. That's the Sarissa cavalry coming in to assist my general. He says, thank you very much. I'm going to keep killing Carthaginians. We've got, some archers coming in down there just to reinforce the lines. It is surprisingly tight. Like if Lofty had had one more unit of pikemen. I think he could have held this gap so convincingly there wouldn't have been anything we can do. But my general getting in through there with the Oathsworn unit, they've got 250 kills at the moment. They are grinding meat. That sounded much worse when I said it out loud. I'm sorry, everybody. Well, I won't edit that out, but hopefully you'll enjoy it a little bit. Up here on the wall, my chosen swordsmen are now convincingly outnumbering the mercenary noble fighters, but down on the ground we've still got a pretty healthy unit of Sacred Band. Yeah, Macedonian hoplites, they've had enough. This unit of hoplites attacking the back of Sacred Band. No, that's not Sacred Band. Lofty's general hanging around there, getting as many rear charges as he can. Oh, another unit fleeing my general. He's up to 275 kills now. This is literally a grind. These archers, out of ammo, not being committed for melee. I mean, up here they couldn't really get anywhere, and they'd probably be slaughtered wherever they went. Oh, last of the Macedonians. Looking like they've had enough as well now. This cavalry is looking like it's gonna exhausted, unit losing, shaken. Oh, and my general's looking unwell. Is there going to be a rear charge here to finally end my general's killing spree? Because lately been hoplites have held really well. They are exhausted, shaken and losing. But my general's now wavering. That's not good. Up on the wall, these chosen swordsmen have done a hell of a job on those mercenary noble fighters. Oh, Macedonian hoplites changed their mind. Things aren't so bad over here. But the attacking team, the attacking factions are running out of troops, whereas there is still this blob of Carthaginians here. But wait, my general has rallied and sent the late Libyan hoplites packing finally. The Iberian cav again wondering if they should be sticking about. No, they're done. They're done. They're finally done. And suddenly this is looking a lot more even. Is it going to be a chain rout, these mercenary noble fighters? Exhausted, they've come down from the wall. They fought one unit of Oathsworn, they know what it's like. This unit is down to a quarter of its side and has got 325 kills. Macedonian hoplites suddenly free of a combat, and now coming in behind to sandwich them. A very light sandwich. There's a lot of filling down here. A lot of Sacred Band filling. 101 Sacred Band. Up on the wall, my chosen swordsman still chewing through those mercenary noble fighters. It's slow, but it's steady. Balance of power firmly in favour of Carthage right now, and we can see why. Like, 101 Sacred Band versus less combined units. Yeah, my general's realising it's not so good. 330 kills. He's done his job, but that 330 kills for these noble fighters here as well. There we go. My general's had it. Chosen swordsmen start wavering on the wall. The hoplites have had enough. This isn't going to be long now. All my guys deciding to run, and then yeah, Macedon has had it as well. So there you have it. An extraordinarily bloody fight. Look at all of these corpses, man. I mean, you get them in every siege, but that is a literal mountain of them there. You can... Oh, no, that's actually people standing up. My apologies. I thought that was a massive pile of bodies. Although here, that is a carpet, man. And not a pleasant one. I'd hate to be the one to clear that up. But there you go. So despite our best efforts, our inexperience with besieging cities came back to haunt us. A very fun game. And it came closer than I think Lofty Tiberius Rex was hoping for. But he did well to defend against two fronts. Having two generals against you is always more difficult because it's about presence on the battlefield. So just because he had more dudes and a better centralisation of command doesn't mean it was necessarily easy, even in a siege battle. So yeah, we had fun. We enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching too. And there'll be a couple more on the way. So thank you very much for watching. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day you viewed this. If you enjoyed the replay, give us a like. If you had something to say, give us a comment. And if you want to see more, give us a subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.